What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be a review for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13. Are we on season 13? I don't know why I can't never remember. Season 13, episode 5, I believe it is. So it'll be right in the description box. But we are episode 6, season 13, episode 6. So here's the thing, you guys. So we are here. We have Dorit and Crystal and Kyle meeting up over at Kyle's house, basically to talk about Sutton and how unhinged they think Sutton is acting. Now, they done brought up the fact that Sutton is drinking. And all of a sudden, Kyle has been sober, and now she is the expert on people who are drinkers. Now, listen, y'all put it in the comments, but I don't remember this being an issue before. I don't remember anybody before talking about Sutton and her drinking. And, like, they're really alluding to the fact that Sutton has a drinking problem. Like, I can understand y'all saying, oh, well, I think maybe Sutton was drinking too much on this particular day. But, of course, they talked about the whole Erica thing down to Vegas and the elevator situation, which I told y'all myself that I felt like that elevator opening up was very convenient. But that's just me. That's just me. So then, you know, Kyle decides, well, I'll talk to Sutton, but, you know, again, I just didn't like that. I don't know. I just didn't like that they were alluding to something that we've never heard this issue before. But neither here nor there. But I will say this, and I'll say this at the end of the episode too. Sutton, I do think you're trying to make Kyle talk to you about something that she's clearly not ready to talk about. You want her to talk about what's going on in the news as far as her marriage is concerned, because in the next scene we see Sutton and Garcelle having dinner, and she's talking about Kyle, and these are the things she's talking about. She's talking about what's in the press. She's talking about the fact that she noticed that Kyle has a new band. Now, let me tell y'all something. There was a lot of shade being thrown in this episode, but baby, Garcelle and Sutton, y'all were the queens of the shade. Sutton said that she noticed that Kyle had a new band. Garcelle was like, girl, I don't be noticing stuff like that. She said, I don't notice jewelry. I mean, except I did notice that Dorit still had all of hers after the robbery. Oh. All of it? She still had... What, Garcelle? I said, ooh, the shade of it all. Now, anyway, there are a couple of zingers this episode, but those two, baby, I mean, but that one was funny. Now, Sutton get a couple of good ones in there, too. We'll get to those, because I had to write them down, because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to give them to y'all. So, anyway, so then we see Erica meeting with a new publicist. We found out that she did fire the publicist that allegedly was leaking information about the show, and she swore that he ain't do it because, well, I mean, you know, that's Nikki Hilton's publicist too, so it wouldn't be in his best interest to be leaking information about Kathy, but he don't work for you no more. Anyway, don't care, because honestly, I just feel like this is just the setup for us to lead into your show about your big comeback that don't nobody care about, because you got your whole Vegas residency and I could get a ticket for $10 and a bucket of chicken, okay? I'm happy for you, girl. I'm happy that you got some income and that you getting back on your feet, but I just don't care. Then we see Garcelle going to dinner with her son. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I ain't care about this scene either, because I still feel like this little boy is disrespectful, and I don't like him. I think he's very dismissive of his mother. And, I mean, I get it. He's a teenager, and some of it is just him being a teenager doing teenager stuff. But the first thing out of his mouth was, she was like, well, you know, she was talking about the divorce, like talking to him about, you know, the divorce with his dad. And he was like, well, I mean, I never gave a damn about that. I mean, I knew it was Dad's fault. And her face was like, which tells me that he doesn't regularly curse in front of her, or at least I felt that way, because her face told it. Her face was like, did he just say damn? And I mean, I know for some people, damn isn't a big deal. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, and he said that he Googled it when he was a kid, and he knew about the infidelity. Now, Garcelle, I am going to say this to you, and I understand that you're not thinking 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road when you're upset and you're in pain and you're going through what you're going through. But for you to be sitting there and be like, I mean, we tried to block them. You know, we never wanted them to, you know, find out like this. Girl, you sent an email to everybody. You sent an email to everybody. Like, you didn't think. And again, I get it. That was before social media and all of that. Like, I remember hearing about it, like, you know, like one of them things you read about. But girl, like, you sent an email to everybody. I really feel like you fax it or emailed it? Either way, I mean, I get it though. Like, you don't think like that. Your kids, you know, the boys were young, and you know, now you're upset that he found out that his dad was a cheater. Why? I mean, it clearly didn't stop him from wanting to live with his dad. It clearly hasn't affected his relationship with his dad. It seemed like it's affected his relationship with you. You sitting here feeling guilty, thinking that he's upset with you for breaking up the family, and come to find out he knew about the affair, and he was like, you know, I don't blame you, I don't blame dad. It is what it is. Again, I just think he's a teenager, being a teenager, doing teenager type ish. I don't know, but I didn't care about this scene anyway, and I really didn't care about this next scene. See, y'all, I don't know. I know y'all gonna be like, well, dang, what does she care about? I'm gonna tell you, I don't care nothing about this next scene either. It's Kyle and her friend. What's the girl name? Miranda. I don't care about none of this. Because I'm going to be honest with you, until this scene, I really felt like I was really on the fence about how I felt about Kyle and this situation. Like, is it real? Is Kyle really having an affair with this woman? Are her and Mauricio really breaking up? Like, I really felt, I wasn't sure. But I'm going to be honest with y'all, after this scene, I'm not convinced that I believe any of this. And I felt like the two of them, Kyle was really, I felt like was trying really hard to convince us. Like, for somebody that wants their privacy and doesn't understand why everybody's making such a big deal, and she's just my friend, in my opinion, you were working really hard to make us feel like it was more there. Like, I feel like you were really trying to make the audience walk away with the thought that there's something going on between you and this woman. Now, I know there's a whole thing where Kathy made comments earlier this week about Kyle and Mauricio never getting back together, and, you know, how Mauricio's been a bad boy or whatever. And I'm not even convinced that that's not planted. Like, I don't know. I really feel like this is a storyline now, because they were awkward together. The conversation didn't really seem to flow. And I just felt like Kyle was trying way too hard to convince us of this. Now, that's just me. Y'all put it in the comments and y'all tell me if y'all felt differently. But she's getting a tattoo. And again, I mean, who am I to judge people's ink? I don't know. But I just feel like at this point, you just getting tattoos just to be getting tattoos. You're getting these little old tattoos, you know, like you got a planet and 2 stars on your pelvis. And then you tattoo her and you tattoo the K. And she was uncomfortable with that. And she was like, well, I didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, you already have all sorts of tattoos that don't mean anything. Like, what was the big deal about me tattooing a K? Girl, what? Like, you tattooed a whole K on that woman's arm. And that's why I said, like, to me, I just felt like they were trying to sell it. And they were trying too hard to sell it. But again, maybe it's me, y'all. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I'm gonna let it be a thing. Anyway. So, I'm trying to think anything before we get to... We see Kyle go home and tell Mauricio about the tattoo, and he feels some kind of way. We see Mauricio coming out with a book that Kyle hasn't read. And again, I just feel like she's just selling it. He was like, so because the producer said, so why haven't you read Mauricio's book? And she was like, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. He was like, you haven't read my book? Like, I sent you the whole book. She was like, I know, but I like paper. You know, I don't want to read it off a computer. Girl, you act like you don't have a printer. You act like you don't have a printer, and you either can't afford ink or paper. Like, girl, like, come on, Kyle. Like, again, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to believe it's real. I don't know, but it just didn't come off authentic. So then we have a scene with Sutton and her matchmaker, and Dorit of all people wants to come over and help the matchmaker, right? And again, it was hilarious to me because I felt like Dorit really came over there just to throw shade at Sutton, because the matchmaker was like, you know, I think Sutton, you know, she was very resistant to, you know, we had to really do an in-depth interview so that we could really get to know her, and she was very resistant to it. But I find that, you know, Sutton is very self-aware. And Dorit was like, what? You do? She said, I found the opposite. I found that she's not very self-aware at all. And I find it interesting that you think she is. Like, I mean, she was like, you do? You think she's self-aware? Now, on that one, I do have to agree. I don't think Sutton is all that self-aware. I don't. I don't think Sutton, I don't. But then, here's where Sutton hit with a zinger. Sutton gonna say, in her confessional, she said, I see Dorit and I see PK and I think, I mean, maybe, I should stop being so picky and maybe I too could find love. I said, you shady bitch. Ah! Oh, you shady bitch. Ah, ah, ah. So, I don't know. They swiped left on a few people, but they finally found somebody that's gonna go out on a date with. Now, they showed us his face. So I don't know. Like, a couple of the guys were blurted out, but one guy, they showed us his face, the guy she's going on a date with. So, I don't know. Maybe he actually stuck around a while, the fact that we actually got to see his face. And he was a nice-looking guy. But I don't know, Sutton. I don't know, Sutton. I don't know how much faith I have in you in this dating situation, but we're gonna keep hope alive. Like Jesse said, we're gonna keep hope alive, child. All right, so then we see everybody getting ready for Kyle's party. Kyle is having a weed infused dinner party, right? And the weed is optional, but it's gonna be a whole situation. We finally meet the new girl, Anne Marie Wiley, Marcus Wiley's wife, child. We've been talking about them. Faye Resnick is there. Denise is there. Camille is there. Cynthia Bailey is there. And, of course, the rest of the ladies and a few of Kyle's other friends. And so everybody's dressed up. Everybody's dressed really nicely. And but we meet Anne Marie. And Anne Marie, Kyle is talking about the fact that she's not drinking and the fact that she's working out and how her friends seem to think it's something weird about it. And she was like, well, no, I work out 6 to 7 times a week. She was like, can you please tell them that when they get here? Because they're acting like it's something weird about me, working out or whatever. Then Garcelle and Sutton show up, honey. Baby, why Sutton gonna say so? It is funny because even before Sutton said it, I was thinking it. Anne Marie had on the dress that a lot of the ladies on these reality shows were wearing the last 2 seasons. The tulle, the strapless dress with the tulle. Baby, Sutton gonna say, I thought I recognized that dress. And then I recognized that that's a dress that Erica wore like last season. She said, people still making that dress? I said, Sutton, you are hitting us with the zingers tonight, okay? But anyway, the ladies all showing up, Sutton has on vintage Gucci, and all that good stuff. And so before we get ready to sit down to dinner, or as we're sitting down to dinner, I don't know what the hell is going on with Denise. Denise, is it me or does, like, at Garcelle's event, Denise seemed fine. But at this dinner, Denise seemed drunk. Am I the only one? She said it wasn't the weed, but she's slurring and she's doing a talking off the side thing that she did last season. But she seemed normal at Garcelle's event. I don't know. I don't know if she gets nervous and she has one too many cocktails or what. But anyway, so Garcelle and Kyle sit down to talk things out before they go to dinner. Everybody's in the other room waiting for them to get there. Faye refuses to sit across from Camille because, their beef goes way back to like season 2, season 1. And, let me say this about this whole conversation between Kyle and Sutton. I do believe that Sutton was trying to get Kyle to talk about her marriage issues. 100%. 100% believe that was a thing. But I also feel like Sutton did open up to Kyle about what she had going on. She told Kyle said, well, I feel like you weren't yourself. She said, I wasn't. That's the first time we've heard Sutton admit that she wasn't herself, right? She tells us that her husband her ex-husband, he got a big promotion and he's moving to London. And he told her, and you're going to London with me and you're bringing our son. And Sutton starts crying and she's upset and she's like, and Kyle was like, you don't have to go to London. Like, he's not your husband anymore. He can't make you move. And she was like, I know, but in the moment, I didn't think I could. And what I interpreted that to mean is because they have joint custody, maybe the court was going to make her move to London, right? She even said that my husband is very powerful and he has more money than I do or did, even though you came out pretty good for somebody that was you were the David to his Goliath. But I understood her point to say, listen, I didn't know you saying I wasn't myself, and I'm telling you I wasn't because I didn't know what my legal rights were in that moment. She said, but it all worked out. I'm staying here. Jack is staying here full time, and he's going to have to give me more child support. So the minute Kyle heard that, all she heard was, oh, so you want me to feel sorry for you because now your husband has to give you more money? You missed all the rest of that. She's not saying, she said, I'm fine now because she's probably had an opportunity to talk to her attorneys, find out what her rights are, and understand that he can't make her do anything and he can't take her son from her. But in the moment of when y'all were in Vegas or whatever, she's saying all of these things were going on in the moment. Now, does Sutton have a convenient way of always having something going on and people are like, girl, what? Like, I wouldn't equate this to her selling her home. Because even then I understood what she was saying. Yes, you're rich. And yes, you can afford to buy another home. But she was like, listen, this is the home that has a lot of memories of my children. I'm leaving it. It's a lot of stress with moving. Yes, I'm buying another house. Yes, great. But we remember she ended up having to move in with Kyle. That's why she tore up that woman's fireplace. But remember, she ended up moving in Kyle's old house and renting that for like 10 months. She literally was homeless. I mean, not technically homeless, but she didn't have a permanent, you know what I mean? So, look, are these rich people's problems? Maybe. But we already know Sutton has a very delicate constitution anyway. So I could see that would upset her, especially when she didn't know if she had a right to say no. Maybe she thought that this man really could make her move to London. I don't know. But on the flip side, Sutton, I do feel like you were trying to pressure Kyle into talking about something she didn't want to talk about. And just because I'm your friend doesn't mean I'm obligated to tell you all my business on demand. Sometimes I got to warm up to it. Sometimes I might never tell you. Sometimes I'm still processing and working through it. If Kyle and Mauricio are legit having these real problems and these problems in their marriage, she might not have been ready to go any deeper with you in that moment. And I think that you should have respected that. But neither here nor there, nothing was resolved, child. Sutton got up and walked out. Crystal came back there to try to mediate the situation. So Sutton goes back to the table. And Kyle and Sutton, Crystal, shady ass, I'm sure production whispered in her ear, gonna say, once the chef went through all of the weed offerings or whatever, and you could get it, you could, decide how much weed you wanted, whether you wanted 0 all the way up to a 5, So here's Crystal. Well, I think that we really should clear the air. Really? You really think it's a good idea for Sutton and Kyle to clear the air in front of all these people when they couldn't do it by themselves privately? Okay, girl. But I get it. We making a show. We making a show. So finally, I guess Garcelle said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of us going back and forth talking about Kyle saying, well, what is it? What do you think I need to talk about? Sutton, and Sutton saying, I don't know, Kyle, whatever you want to talk about. And she said, but no, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want to tell me? Finally, baby, Garcelle was like, your marriage. Your marriage. She want to know about your marriage. Why you ain't wearing your ring? Why you got a new ring? And basically, Garcelle was like, well, we want to know whether you have a new ring. I mean, was that an apology gift? Was that a oops, I messed up gift? And Kyle was like, what are you talking about? You think I got a new wedding band? She said, I bought it for myself, but you think I got a new wedding band because Mauricio did something wrong? Baby, here go Camille. Garcelle was like, well, look, she said, I have a diamond cross. Like, that was my oops gift. Camille said, baby, I used to get new cars. She said, I got an Aston Martin. I got this, I got that. Whenever he screwed up, baby, I got a new car. And then the other women around the table were like, yep, I got this. Yep, I got that. So, I mean, was it a stretch to think that maybe there was a connection? Maybe not so much. But I definitely understand that Kyle was like, what are y'all talking about? So anyway, Kyle was like, listen, I am like I told you guys at the retreat that this has been a hard year for my marriage. Like, wasn't that enough? Like, what more do you want from me? She was like, y'all been getting on me about working out. Y'all been getting on me about the drinking. But when I drink, I don't feel, I'm depressed, and I can't afford to be depressed right now. And that's where the episode went off, child. It was a whole situation. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, Sutton hit us with another zinger. Why, when she was talking to Kyle about her marriage issues, and she was like, my husband is very powerful. I mean, he's like globally powerful. I don't mean selling houses. I said, you know what? Sutton has been shady this whole episode, but I've been here for it because it's been fucking hilarious. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.